Hello, here I am in the garden and today I'm going to be harvesting my pumpkin and squash. I'm Rue and this is Rue's Life. These squash and pumpkin are definitely ready to harvest. The foliage has started to die back and I can see these beautiful ripe squash and pumpkin ready to go. I've grown 5 varieties this year: jack-o'-lantern, ukiki-kiri, Waltham butternut, patty pan and crown prince. So let's go and see what we've got. So right in the middle of this pumpkin patch or squash bed, I'm surrounded by fantastic fruits. My squash frame has seen better days and I will be pulling that down this year and rebuilding. It's done me 2 seasons and I'm really pleased with it. So I'm going to start at this end with this beautiful jack-o'-lantern. I've got myself a nice decent pair of secateurs because I want to cut those vines rather than be pulling at them. This is a really decent sized pumpkin. It's got a good sound to it, so I'm pretty certain that it's ripe, but I'm going to want to cure it. So I need to make sure that I'm leaving a decent amount of this stalk or stem and I'm not taking it off too short. So at least a couple of inches, or you can take it higher. And then carefully lift him out. Look at that. So I'm going to continue round the squash bed, taking these beautiful squash off the vines. So now that I've got this bumper crop of squash and pumpkin in, what am I going to do with them next? First of all, let's have a look at each variety and see how well they've done. These are some of the patty pan variety. I've got some nice little ones that are ready for eating now, but some of the larger ones I can actually cure and store. And just look at the variety of texture and colour within one variety of squash. So these are all from the same patty pan variety, but we've got that lovely orange, a lighter yellow, and these smaller ones we'll eat first. Very similar to how we harvest and eat our courgette or zucchini. These larger, kind of pie-shaped ones, we'll actually store for longer. And let's have a look at some of the other varieties. This is my most successful year with these butternut squash. They're a really decent size and I'm really looking forward to eating them. They'll be fantastic in soups and casseroles. Butternut squash soup this autumn and winter, fabulous. The ukiki-kiri are a little bit disappointing this year. The 2 that I've got aren't bad specimens, but there are only 2 of them. And that's a bit disappointing because this is my favourite variety of squash. What's your favourite? And then look at this crown prince, it's absolutely huge. Far exceeded any of the crown prince I've ever grown before. This is the biggest one, but I have got 2 more. And here they are. And it just goes to show, it is a little bit of a lottery when you're growing squash. They're all planted and grown under the same conditions and at the same time. Look at the difference that we've got in these 3 squash from one vine. And then finally the big boys come out. These are the first year I've grown these jack-o'-lantern and I'm looking forward to carving these. So what's going to happen to this bed now? So I'm going to pull down this squash frame. The bulk of it can be actually reused, but that can't be reused I can actually chop down and pop it on the compost heap. And the same with this lovely foliage. So all of this lush green and now some of it dying off foliage can be chopped up and popped on that compost heap to make some lovely rich compost for growing in a couple of seasons time. And then I can either put this bed to sleep for the winter, but actually I've got plans to put my onion sets in. So keep watching in the future for that video coming out soon. And what happens next with this wonderful harvest of squash and pumpkin. So these smaller ones, the patty pan and any of the other smaller varieties, I can eat right now, or I can just keep them in a cool area until I'm ready to eat them. These really big ones, I've always just given them a little wipe over with a cloth. Some people like to rub them with olive oil, but I've never actually done that myself, but it's something you could do. And then I will keep them in my spare room because it's cool. There's a little bit of light, but not too much, and that will cure these beautifully, so they'll store for at least 6 months. So I tend to leave mine in my spare room, but anywhere just for a few weeks, like the polytunnel or a greenhouse or a spare room or windowsill will be absolutely fine. In my spare room they go on an ottoman, so they get a little bit of sunshine until they're cured, so till these skins have seasoned, and then I can pop them into big cardboard boxes, and they actually go under my bed when they're ready to store. So when I store them, initially I don't let them touch each other, so I'll make sure that they're not touching, and I keep a close eye on them when they do go under that bed, give them a regular check just to make sure that there's no discoloration and there's no mildew or mould starting to happen. If that does happen, I can simply wipe it off and use that squash sooner rather than later. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please give me a thumbs up, and there'll be a video coming up right now that I think you'd like to watch, so please go ahead and watch that. But for now, take care, and I'll see you all again soon.